In today's lesson, we're going to look at the guidelines of understanding the YouTube algorithm. Now, we already looked at the niche and we need to understand how the algorithm works. Now, if you selected the niche, you need to understand how you're going to get your content into the algorithm. And I feel it's very crucial for people to understand what the algorithm is before they starting creating the content, because that gives you an insight of exactly what direction that you want to take with your thumbnail, what direction you want to take with your script, and how all these things tend to affect the YouTube algorithm. So the main thing that you want to do and understand is what is YouTube's goal. And obviously, in order to understand this, there's three elements that you need to keep in mind. The first one is maximizing user engagement. The second is delivering relative content. And third is promoting the fresh content. Now, all these things are YouTube's own main goal, meaning this is what YouTube wants to actually achieve. So they want to keep the viewers on the platform as long as possible. The more time that you spend on the platform, the happier YouTube is going to be. Now, the second thing is they want to deliver relevant content. So that means showing the videos that match viewers' interests and viewing history, which is very crucial for you to understand. Once you understand the goals of YouTube, you'll be able to understand, does your channels actually fall in line with the goals of YouTube? Now, if you're able to align your channel and the goals of YouTube together, that's going to put your channel in a very good position. And the third is to always introduce new videos to keep the platform dynamic and diverse. So how do we get our channels to meet these goals? So we're going to look at how to get engaging scripts and thumbnails on our channel to actually keep the viewers on the platform as much as possible. The second thing is that we're going to focus on the interests that people tend to have on YouTube and make videos according to that. And then we're going to look at the viewing history by doing our research. And by doing our research, we'll be able to understand how we need to keep our audience and on our channel as much as possible. And we will be always making new videos to give the YouTube platform a chance to give out information to our audiences, to our subscribers, and to the people that come onto YouTube. The second thing is that we need to understand the key metrics that actually influence the algorithm. Now, there's two things that really have an impact. The first thing is called the CTR. Now, this is the click-through rate. Now, the click-through rate is literally meaning how many times is your thumbnail shown to individuals and they actually click on your thumbnails in order to watch your video. Now, there's an example I tend to give, which is very, very relevant. Now, if imagine that you go into a store and you look at a store and the candies and the chocolate bars and everything that they have. Now, this one particular candy bar really stands out. So you buy this candy bar, you open the wrapper, you take a bite, and it's disgusting and you throw it away. Now, this is what happens when you make a thumbnail which is really attractive. Someone actually clicks on it and just watches for 5 seconds and says, you know what, this is a clickbait, it's not fun, it's not giving me what I wanted, and they move on. It's the same impact as that bad chocolate bar. Now, imagine if you go into that shop, you select that chocolate bar, you open the wrap, you eat all of it, and you absolutely love it. What are you going to do? You're going to come back and try another chocolate bar. You might try a different chocolate bar. You might tell your friends about it, and you might get more people to get involved in your adventure of chocolate research. Now, the same thing happens with your content. If you like a video, you're going to share it on your social media. You're going to share it on your WhatsApp. You're going to tell more people about it, and that is what's going to bring your audience onto your channel. Now, if you're able to do that, your CTR is going to go over the roof, and that is what your aim should be. So always make sure that you create eye-catching thumbnails, write compelling titles, and use relevant words. That means if you do all of these things, you're going to get a lot of clicks. Now, there's two things what happens on a channel. If you already have a YouTube channel and you're not getting a lot of views, that doesn't mean your content is bad. Your content in your videos might be absolutely brilliant. It might be that people are not clicking on it. So how do you understand people are clicking on it? If your impressions are very high and your click-through rate is very low, that means you've done your SEO correctly, you've done your tagging and your description, your title's perfectly fine, but your thumbnail is really bad. Let's look at the other way. If you have a very high click-through rate, but you have a very low level of impressions, that means that anyone that does reach your video and sees it, they click on it and they watch it, but not a lot of people are seeing it because your SEO, your tagging and your description, your title is really bad. Now let's look at it another way. If your impressions are really good and your click-through rate is really, really good, but the third thing, which is the average watch time is very low, that means people people are seeing the thumbnail, they're clicking on the thumbnails, but when they come, they don't like the script, they don't like the video, they don't like the editing, and then that is where they'll leave your channel and they don't watch your video. So these are the 3 metrics that you need to keep in mind. And that brings us to obviously the watch time. Now, the total amount of time people spend on watching your video is very important. So always make sure that you look at and create an engaging script and get people hooked on, and make sure that you use different techniques such as storytelling. Get people engaged with it, tell them a story, tell them the background, get emotionally involved with your content. And I feel the more emotionally we're in touch with what we do, the better results that we're going to get. And if your intention is to genuinely help people and give them the right information and give them a chance to really understand that topic, they're going to be able to connect with you and resonate with you from that perspective. And always make sure for longer videos, because the longer they are and the longer they stay engaged, the more watch time that you're going to get. Now, after doing that, we want to make sure that the audience stays and we retain the audience. Now, obviously, like I said before, the actual percentage of videos that viewers watch before clicking away is very important. And the first few seconds are very crucial. Now, I usually say 10 to 15 seconds is the definition of a very, very good video that keeps people over here engaged 100%. If this particular 15 seconds goes down to like 20%, to 10%, then you really need to work hard to keep your audience engaged in the first 15 seconds. And always make sure that you maintain a steady pace and avoid filler content. Now, one of the things people tend to do is put a lot of long B-rolls inside their videos, and I feel that really takes away from that sort of engagement people tend to have, because they don't know what to expect. And you need to be very upfront and honest with what your thumbnail is, what your title is, and in the first 15 seconds, what information that you give. And always analyze the drop-off points to improve your future content. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't tend to do, and I feel it's very crucial for us to understand that the YouTube Studio gives us a chance to analyze our data. We can see exactly where we're going wrong, and if you're able to analyze and actually figure out what you're doing wrong and fix it, it's going to really help your channel. Now, after doing that, you have to work on your engagement. The likes are important, the comments are important, the shares are important, and the subscribers that are generated by your videos. Now, there is a very bad habit that people tend to do, is that they will, after 15 seconds, after completing their introduction or starting the next point after the introduction, say, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to comment as well. Now, you're telling a person to do 3 things. Don't do that. What you need to do is just start with one thing. So after you finish your 15 seconds, say, if you like the video, hit the subscribe button, and then you move on. And after finishing the main topic, you can say that if you have any questions, just comment in the comment section down below. And then right towards the end, say that if you haven't hit the notification, hit the notification bell. So basically, you're telling them to do 3 things at 3 different parts and in that video. So you're not always telling them, like them, subscribe, and comment, and jump, and scream, and shout, and share, and do all these things. They're not going to do it. If you tell them to do just one thing, they might do it, and they might do it. But you tell them to do 3 things, they're never going to do it. So make sure that you understand that, and make sure that you actually focus on that and actually develop it from that perspective. Now comes the last part, the session time. Now, the total time a person actually spends on YouTube is very crucial, and this is where the most important part comes in. You can use the end screens and the cards to promote your content, and you can create playlists to keep the viewers watching, and you can always recommend related videos in your content. Now, I have a saying, is that always create a rabbit hole. Now, what's a rabbit hole, you might be thinking? A rabbit hole is where someone watches one video, finishes it, and then you don't end with, thank you very much guys, stay tuned for our next video, goodbye. You actually say that if you understood all of this and you want to implement it, check out this video. And then you put the actual end screen of that particular video inside, and people will click on that and go to that video. And then when they watch that video and they come right to the end, it's going to end the same way and say that if you like the content but you want to understand how to create that thumbnail, well, watch this video. And they'll be like, we need to watch that video, and they're going to watch that video, and the rabbit hole continues, one video after the other. And what that does is it gives and signals to the YouTube algorithm that this individual understands how to keep the audience engaged on his channel and on YouTube. Now you're aligning your goals with the goal of YouTube of keeping those individuals on YouTube and consuming good content. And that way the YouTube algorithm is going to start promoting your videos and your channel. Now, after you've done all of that, you put yourself in a very good position, which brings us to the third part. How does the actual algorithm show the videos to the viewers? Now, first one is the homepage. This is your homepage. So your video might be, this might be your video, this might be your video, or this might be your video. And this is where the YouTube is focusing on creating content that appeals to your target audience and engages it. So a video is going to pop up on the homepage according to the person's history and interest. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is suggestive videos. Now, this is those videos that come on this side over here, as you can see. And if you can get your videos over here, it gets a lot of exposure. And obviously, if you have the right titles and tags and descriptions, and obviously if you have any collaboration, you can actually get your video ranked over here. And if you're able to do that, that's going to increase your watch time and also increase your subscribers. And if you do that, you'll be able to get monetized very, very quickly. Now, if you're able to get monetized, you need to make sure that you stick with this element over here and try to focus on getting your videos in the suggestive. The third one is getting into the search results. Now, this is very crucial, guys. If you want consistent growth, you need to focus on the tags that you use and the specific terms that you use. Now, if you search for how to tie a tie and you get a video and says how to tie a tie, so this actually shows you over here as well that your video can get ranked based on your search results. So people might be searching for a topic and your video comes in. That will give you and take your video to 1 million mark in literally days. And I personally believe anyone that's able to achieve that, they'll be able to get their channels monetized very, very quickly and earn a very good passive income. Now, you can do that by obviously doing your research and figuring out what titles and description tend to work best. And it takes a lot of practice, but you can achieve it at the end of the day. Remember, guys, content quality and consistency is very crucial. Now, if you're able to achieve that and keep that in mind, you'll be able to develop a channel that is excellent, the channel that will literally always be evergreen. And if you want to make sure that you want to stay engaged with your community, make sure you use the community interaction. This is where you can build a community around your channel, which I personally feel is something which a lot of people don't tend to do. Now, if you want to make sure that your channel grows and you understand what your audience wants, you have to give them what they need. Now, like I said before, creating a core audience is one of the most important things. And in order to understand and create a core audience, you need to know what your audience tends to want. And the subscribers that you already have on your channel, so you need to engage with them. And the best way to engage with them is through the community post. Post out and ask them questions, do quizzes, do polls, ask them and tell them about a new video that's coming out, take their opinions on board, and you will be able to convert those casual audiences into your core audiences. And if your core audience hits 20% mark, your channel is going to be well established. And once you get monetized, and if you do get monetized, and as you get monetized, you'll be actually earning a very good passive income. So if you're able to do all of that, you're going to be putting yourself in a very good position. And always get feedback and do a good analysis of what is happening on your channel, guys. Feedback gives you a perspective that you might not be looking at yourself, but others might be looking at it, and it will give you a chance to critically evaluate and make your content better. So guys, if you understood how the algorithm works, that's perfectly fine. And if you still have any questions and you still don't understand things, you can always join my academy, which is 10 YouTube Academy. So stay tuned for our next lesson. Until then, take care.